Welcome back to the Changing Earth podcast with author Sarah F. Hathaway and co-host Chen Gibson. Blending survival, fiction, and fact to bring you entertaining education that will help you dream, survive, and thrive. And now, here's your host, Sarah F. Hathaway and Chen Gibson.
Hello, and welcome back to the Changing Earth podcast. This is episode number 324, and we're switching it up a little today. Hey, Chin, what's up?
Hey, Chin's up.
Hello, hello. Hello, PBN family, for all you guys out there listening. I hope you checked out the live show updates today. I put the audio drama link in there so all you live listeners could have a chance to jump on the material before we got there. So
it was fun, man. All
right?
the sound effects and music and everything. Good stuff.
Yeah, I really beefed it up with the sound effects. So, yep, brought it into focus a little bit. All right. Well, I've had an interesting day. I got a little fired up today. So
it wasn't me this time.
It wasn't you.
It's your own pregame.
I was deploying the steps that you gave me, Chin, on how to stay calm when stuff goes wrong.
I think you need to read it again.
Yeah. I need a little review.
Know your trigger points.
Yeah. Oh, my martial arts instructor knows my trigger points really well. Yeah, he's constantly trying to trigger me. So, anyway, November's here. The Earth is spinning faster. We're going to go down as one of the fastest rotations in history this year. And I just believe...
Man, it couldn't get over fast enough this year.
Right. I think even the universe is trying to spin us faster during these 4 years.
Let's get through this crap.
Let's just get over here. Let's get over with this. Right. So, yeah, that's definitely my thought on that one. But today, for all of you listening to the recording, I am going to play the audio drama right about now. This is going to be episode 1 of the audio drama.
Get ready to experience the Changing Earth audio drama, brought to you by an incredible lineup of podcasters and survivalists from across the country, including listeners like you.
Day of Disaster.
Erica stands in the early afternoon sun on a gravel driveway of a country home with her mother Nancy, her son Dexter, and their dog Ripper.
I thought you had nights off.
I traded shifts with my friend David, so I could get Saturday off.
Well, you better drive safe. You know how I worry about you driving home from Sacramento at night.
Don't worry, Mom. I'll be fine.
When's Vince coming to get Dex and Ripper?
He should be here in a couple of hours. They're working on landscaping that house with the Japanese pagodas, and the sod trucks were late.
Then it's a good thing I went shopping this morning.
Thanks, Mom. I appreciate it.
I didn't have anything going on.
Dexter, come here and give me a kiss goodbye.
The blonde-haired boy bounds over with a Great Dane on his heels.
Bye, Mommy. I love you.
Erica wraps the boy up in a big hug.
I love you too, little man. Daddy should be here soon.
You want to go make some cookies for your dad?
Yeah,
You better save me some of those cookies.
we will, Mom.
Bye, guys. I love you.
Bye, Mom.
Erica climbs behind the steering wheel of her vehicle and starts the engine. A muscular man stands with his whip skillfully hitting targets. A rugged-looking man approaches behind him.
Put your whip away, TJ. Mr. Lee has a job for us.
Good. I'm bored.
You've been nothing but bored since Jillian left.
told you not to talk about Jillian, Max. Who are we getting today?
Just another POS that chose not to pay Mr. Lee back his money.
Same old story, different day.
The men walk into a busy mixed martial arts gym. Two identical twins square off in the center. Their size and stature dominate the other fighters present.
Yuri, Serge, let's go.
Immediately exiting the ring, the two men grab their towels and exit the gym as directed. Swenson and Max lead them to the other side of the alley where they enter a hotel's side door. Two men await their arrival, sitting in an office drinking whiskey on the rocks.
It's about damn time you showed up.
Sorry, Mr. Lee.
Don't let it happen again.
Give them a break, Robert. They were at the gym training.
Don't defend them, Laudner. They're always late.
Who are we hunting, Mr. Lee?
Mr. Lee holds up a piece of paper and gestures towards Swenson.
His name is Ryan Miller. He owes me 20 grand and forgot to make his payment this month. Bring him back here just so we can remind him what happens when he doesn't pay.
You got it, Mr. Lee.
Swenson turns towards the three men behind him.
Let's go.
The men exit the office and close the door behind them. A baby-faced man sits at his table cleaning his rifle. Water boils in a canner on the stove.
Hello, this is Cole Burgess.
Burgess, I got a contract for you. Your flight leaves in 1 hour. You're flying to Sacramento. Lunch is on me. Chappie, Monroe, and LePere will meet you in the El Primo.
Yes, sir, Mr. McClintock, sir. I'll be there.
Sounds like your breakfast is ready.
No, sir. I'm canning some tomatoes from the farmer's market. Gotta be ready for a rainy day.
Looks like that day may be here sooner than we thought. I'll see you in Minneapolis.
I'll be there, sir.
Burgess pulls his jars from the boiling water before picking up his gear and exiting his home. The Arizona sunlight blares down at him as he climbs into his vehicle. Arriving late, Erica runs through the door of the restaurant, bumping into one of 4 men on their way out.
I'm sorry, sir.
Looks like you're in a rush.
I'm late for my shift, and traffic was a mess.
We better get moving then, boys. Can't miss our flight. Keep your head up, little lady.
I will. Take care, sir.
Erica proceeds into the kitchen, where a pile of onions waits for her to cut them. She gets to work.
Hey, Erica, can you go down in the basement and grab a bottle of Merlot?
Oh, man, Casey, I hate it down there.
Come on, you big baby. It's just a basement.
No, it's a bomb shelter, and that door is so heavy.
Just go do it. Mr. Lawrence will be in an uproar, and I have these orders to get out.
Mr. Lawrence again? Wonder what his complaint will be about tonight.
Maybe Mr. Lawrence would like a big loogie in his food.
Knock it off, guys. It's just another wonderful night at El Primero. Erica, go get the bottle.
Fine, I'll go.
Erica heaves open the large metal door. It slams behind her. Turning on the light, Erica descends the stairs and walks towards a gigantic oak wine rack.
Merlot. Which one is it?
She spies the bottle on the top shelf.
Damn, I hate being short.
Struggling to reach the bottle suddenly starts to shake, and the wine rack starts to teeter. Erica tries to keep her footing as the floor starts moving. The black sedan drives down the streets of St. Louis. Swenson sits in the back with Yuri. Max is behind the steering wheel, and Serge sits next to him.
Pull over up here, Max. Now! That's Jillian right there.
I gotta bring this guy home tonight, TJ, or Mr. Lee will be pissed. But he'd sure love to have Jillian back home as well.
The car pulls to the side of the road.
Go get her, TJ. Take Yuri. Serge and I will finish the hunt.
Swenson bounds from the vehicle with Yuri, following behind a pregnant woman. They follow her into an alley, and the woman turns around.
I knew you would find me eventually. You're the best, T.
Jillian, you have to come home. I'll protect you. He won't hurt you while you're pregnant.
No, T. It's too late. You know what he will say. I made a choice and I did.
You went back to your father? The drunk who beat your mother?
He cleaned himself up, got a new job, and we've been doing okay. We can leave here together. Come with me, T.
Jillian begins slowly backing away.
You know I can't let you go.
Swenson grabs for his whip.
Please don't do this, Jill. Don't run from me. Not one more step.
Everyone pauses for a moment as a slight shaking begins.
I'm sorry, T.
Jillian turns and runs as the rumbling sound gets louder. Swenson gives chase, but his footing is off. As the ground begins to heave, Jillian cruises as well as the ground begins to ripple like waves in the ocean.
Brace yourself, Jill.
The brick building next to them begins to sway. Swenson throws his whip out, catching Jillian by the neck.
Jillian!
Bricks from the building collapse on top of her.
TJ, watch out!
Yuri pulls him back into the street as the rest of the building falls into the space he was occupying. Ripping himself out of Yuri's grasp, Swenson frantically searches the rubble.
Jill, where are you?
Finding the end of his whip, he follows it back to Jillian's lifeless body.
Oh.
Come on, TJ. There's nothing we can do.
Swenson stares dumbfounded into the wreckage.
Why did she run from me?
Get it together, TJ. She's gone.
She's gone. Mr. Lee.
That's right, TJ. We have to go home.
Burgess occupies the aisle seat just behind the cockpit. The stewardess exits rapidly out of the cockpit, leaving the door open.
Chappie, Captain looks nervous about something.
Maybe the underwear bomber's on the flight.
It's not the underwear bomber.
If you're so curious, why don't you go ask him?
I think I'll do that.
Burgess gets up and approaches the cockpit. The captain smiles at him with recognition.
Everything okay, Captain?
Look out the window, Burgess.
Is that water?
If it is, it's the biggest wave I've ever seen on land.
It's headed right to Folsom Dam.
Do you think it'll hold?
We're about to find out.
Oh my God.
It'll hit Sacramento next.
Sacramento Air Control, this is Flight 459. We're watching a giant wave headed your way. Sacramento Air Control, this is Flight 459. You copy?
Where are they?
Sacramento Air Control, this is Flight 459. Do you read?
Try Reno, eh?
Reno Air Control, this is Flight 459. Do you copy?
Flight 459. This is Flight 1123. Are you receiving me?
Copy that, Flight 1123.
Are you reaching the control towers?
That's a negative, Flight 1123.
We're supposed to be putting this bird down.
I'm not sure there's any land left to land on, Flight 1123. Did you see the dam break?
I'm looking at nothing but water.
I'd suggest turning that bird towards Reno.
Copy that.
What are we gonna do?
We're going to Minneapolis.
What about people who have families down there?
What about the people who have families in Minnesota?
Burgess, we might need you and your men to help keep order on this plane.
You can count on us.
Burgess returns to his seat with a concerned look on his face.
Did you see what just happened out there, Burgess?
Shh! We may have to help maintain order.
Are we landing? My wife was down there.
No, LaPierre. There's no runway left. We're going to Minneapolis.
Let me just say, I strongly disagree with this decision, sir.
Noted. Now get ready to do some crowd control.
Erica lies pinned to the floor, soaked in wine from the shattered bottles.
Where am I? What happened? Oh. Oh. What the? I can't move. I can't move. Oh, damn. What the? Glass. It's everywhere. Help me, please. Someone help me. Help me. This thing is so heavy. Move. Ow. The freaking glass caught me again. Stupid wine. Stupid shelter. Stupid guy. Stupid job in the stupid city. Stupid shit. Who the hell builds a bomb shelter in a restaurant? Someone help me. Help me. Help me. No one can hear me. I'll have to wait. I can't scream anymore. Please, God, let someone find me.
As the city of St. Louis is destroyed around them, Swinson and Yuri approach the location where Serge and Max were supposed to find the bounty.
Sergei! I tried to save you.
Serge, you've got to get home to Mr. Lee.
Swinson and Yuri help Serge to his feet when suddenly the ground starts to shake furiously.
Hit our car.
Looks like we're walking home. Let's go.
If the shaking doesn't stop, it's going to take us forever.
Just keep moving.
Did you see that building? It just jumped 2 stories into the air. What the hell is going on? The city will be destroyed.
Come on. We gotta get to Mr. Lee.
DJ, watch out!
A huge crack opens in the earth under Swinson's feet. He lunges across, landing in a roll.
You okay, TJ?
Yeah, I'm fine. You guys will have to jump it.
That's a long way down.
Don't think about it, just do it.
Okay, DJ.
With a running start, both men clear the gap and continue to navigate the street.
Oh my God. Look at the hotel. Find Mr. Lee.
The men climb across the rubble of the hotel, desperately searching for survivors.
They're dead. All the fighters are dead. I found Team, but no Mr. Lee.
He's here. I know he's here. Over here. Yuri. Surge. He's over here. Dig. I can't lose Mr. Lee too.
TJ!
Is that you, Wagner?
Hey, we're under the desk!
Reach for my hand. I got you.
Mr. Lee's banged up pretty bad.
Let's get him out of there.
As the men pull him out of the rubble, Mr. Lee is barely conscious, and his leg is bent at an abnormal angle.
What do we do, Mr. Lee? The whole city is on fire.
Laudner, lead them to Lee's summit.
I will, Mr. Lee. You heard the man, TJ. Let's go.
Surge shoulders Mr. Lee's weight, and the 5 men begin their journey out of the crumbling city. Burgess stands at the front of the plane speaking into an intercom receiver. His men are dispersed down the aisle.
Can I have your attention, please? We will be arriving in Minneapolis shortly. It appears what we witnessed in Sacramento is not an isolated event. The situation on the ground is unknown. I'm going to need everyone to stay calm.
Can't you just radio down there?
I understand you all have questions. Right now, I need anyone with medical or emergency training expertise to raise their hand. Now please keep them up. The men you see in the aisle will help you relocate to the rows closest to the exits. When we land, your groups will be given regions for area assessment. That's all for now.
Wait a minute. You had radio contact with anybody down there?
All I can tell you is right now, it is spotting.
What the hell's going on down there? My family is down there.
Look out the window and you'll know as much as I do right now.
As the plane descends, the passengers stare out the windows in awe. The cars are piled on the jagged roadway, and the buildings are alight with fire. Burgess goes back to the cockpit.
Burgess, have you seen this?
What do you think the airport looks like?
Everything's on fire.
The airport should be coming up on the horizon now.
Oh, crap!
Hey, that's a lot of smoke.
Look at the runways.
They're all broken, cracked like eggshells.
What are we going to do?
We could put it down on the lake.
We have enough gas to try for Duluth. Maybe it wasn't hit so bad.
What do you think, Burgess?
I'm not the one you should be asking. They are.
Burgess points out to the people on the plane. The pilot and co-pilot nod in agreement. Burgess returns to his microphone.
Are we gonna be able to land?
Burgess speaks into the microphone, looking at the man.
You can see as clear as I can what we are up against, so here are our options. We land the plane on the lake, or we fly to Duluth and see if it's any better up there.
Is it safe to land on the lake?
Safer than landing on that runway. Okay, quiet down. We're going to have a vote. All those in favor of flying to Duluth, raise your hand. Now, everyone in favor of landing on the lake, raise your hands. Looks like we're landing on the lake. I need everyone to follow safety instructions, and your stewardesses will help you if you have any questions.
Burgess relays the information to the captain. and returns to his seat, preparing for the bumpy ride ahead.
Thanks for stopping by and listening to the Changing Earth audio drama. Hope you enjoyed the adventure. This content is copyrighted in 2021 by author Sarah F. Hathaway. For a list of performers, music, and noise attributes, head on over to www.authorSarahFHathaway.com/Changing Earth. That's www.authorSarahFHathaway.com/Changing Earth. Special thanks to Zapsplat, freesound.com, and freemusicarchives.com for all the work that they do, providing great resources for free music and sounds. Without them, this project would not be possible. Much love to all of my volunteer performers who put hours in designing the characters that you love. We'll see you next time on the Changing Earth audio drama.
And I know you have all the strength to find your way as you teach the world to be brave.
We'll just jump right in, right? That's my thought.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We chase enough squirrels along the way anyway, so. So in Act 1, we had Erica just leaving home just like was any other day, you know. And she didn't know disaster was going to strike that day. And I don't think any of us would set out in the morning and be like, oh, disaster is going to strike today. So I need to make sure I'm really prepared. This has to be like an everyday thing for you.
I was like, my note for that was, yeah, let's trade shifts. How'd that work out for her?
Yeah. Didn't work out too hot. So
No.
the evening shift wasn't a good idea that day.
No, she should have been home.
So my thought is the EDC kit. It's really, really easy for women to carry EDC kits because it's socially acceptable for us to carry, you know, purses, backpacks, these kind of things. So the car kit wouldn't have worked for her situation, but an EDC kit to have something like that on hand definitely would have worked.
I know I had a in the office. I carried a backpack instead of a briefcase.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I have a actually.
It's getting more and more common that, you know, guys carry a backpack for just
to have the stuff. Right.
Yeah.
So that would be my suggestion for sure. And then you had all kinds of cool little things that you used to do because you couldn't take certain objects into your office and whatnot. So
I had the biggest pair of scissors at my desk.
ever. Like I could break them in half and I got 2 knives.
Just saying.
Double wielding. Well, after Erica's part in Act 1, we had Swenson. And, you know, Swenson's really my ode to tyranny. And he's very much not a nice guy. He comes from a very dark place of Sarah's reality. Everybody's like, wow, you got some dark things going on in that mind. But I guess so. But he is really my exemplification of like a tyrannical ruler. And also, I really wanted to create Swenson because even though it seems the preparedness community is very, very alert as to what can happen, everybody seems so good. You know what I'm saying? Like, good people. Very heartfelt. I hate to generalize, you know, but most of everybody that I meet that is really concerned about preparing for a future disaster comes from a place of what I would consider a really good individual. So there's times when you need to have it like thrown in your face that there are like really evil people out there. And they exist more than I would like them to believe. And I've been told this by, you know, lots of law enforcement, military members, things like that. To, you know, Sarah, a certain amount of people are just these bad seeds, right? So I really wanted to...
2020 kind of pulled that out into the universe.
Yeah.
You saw a lot of bad people doing bad things.
Out on the street when there's no laws,
Yeah.
And there's nobody to maintain the rules. You know, what kind of people will really rise to the top?
The summer of love.
Right. It's not going to be Johnny Do-Gooder who rises to the top unless he's got a lot of guys with him swinging big clubs, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be these people that are willing to take. And Swenson is that exemplification. So if you get uncomfortable with some of his material, you're meant to be uncomfortable with some of his material. It is exactly.
Sarah's doing her job.
Yeah, I'm doing my job. I am making you go, holy moly, people like this exist. Yeah. One thing about Swenson is he is a very calculated guy. For this as a protagonist, he's very calculated. He analyzes things, and we've talked about it before. And I love that you sent me the link about the Ooda Loop again, the Ooda Loop, because Brian at Mind for Survival is the first one that I heard about the Ooda Loop from. Duff. Yep, Brian Duff over at he does some great. He's in the show, by the way, guys, and he does some great character work as well. So I got to give props to Brian for that one. But the Ooda Loop is just a basic understanding of first, you know, you observe your situation. Where are you? What is going on? You have to gather as much information as possible. And then number 2, you orient yourself. You got to study the problem and develop ways to solve it. 3, you're going to make the choice. You're going to decide what strategy will be deployed. And then 4, you act, see what happens, you know, as the outcome of your chosen strategy, and then start all over again. So the Ooda Loop.
I think the last 3 things you said, which the third thing isn't really part of the Ooda Loop, but I mean, people get stuck in like analysis paralysis, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're just watching and taking in all the information, but you don't actually decide and then act.
Right. You have to actually like do something from that.
Make your calculations and then act on it and then be able to adjust on the fly.
Right. And, you know, the old saying, the country song, right? You have to stand for something or you'll fall for anything.
Yeah.
So make your stand, you know, for better or worse. Make your choice. Stand behind it. Analyze.
Take it. Yep. Take an action and make that step off the exit, like they like to say, and then see where you're at. You know, was it good or bad, and then adjust and make another step.
Yeah. So that it's tough. It's tough to know which direction to go in these days. There's a lot of times. There's so much information in front of us, so much to analyze, so much coming at us every day, and a lot of pressure to choose one decision over others, right? So I would definitely choose one and then go with it for a while, and then you can always reassess later, and it's okay to change your opinion later on. That's like an okay
And I think
thing.
the more that you do this, I mean, they were talking about using this for everything, business practices and daily life, right? But I think the more that you do it, the more it just becomes ingrained in how you live your life, and you'll be able to act and react better and quicker down the road.
It's like exercising your muscles, right? If you just like leave it all stagnant, you can't just instantly develop it. You gotta get used to going through the pattern. All right, so in Act 1, Burgess's scene, he's at home canning. Gotta love it. Military man, you know, at home just canning. But putting away the long-term food supplies, and also understanding that he's going to need to help other people out too. He's not just thinking of himself. So, great on him.
Unless he gets the call, and he said he was canning, and then you might be needing that sooner than you think.
Yeah. You'd be like, what? What? Should I go? You know? I'm not sure if I'm going to leave the house at that point when my boss just said that to me, right?
Yeah, right.
So, but no, he does, because he's a man of action, and he's a good guy. And but like I say, being prepared is the first step to being able to handle things with less fear. So that's why we're here. That's why we do the show. That's why everything that I do is aimed towards that, to help you guys out so that you can start thinking about these things ahead of time. And then if it ever really happens, you've already gone through the thought exercise of it. So you're like, oh, okay, here's a couple strategies I could deploy.
Right.
So Act 2, Erica, she just has the bad feeling about the basement. We have the intrepid commander
Who
playing
puts
the
a
cook.
bunker in the restaurant?
Yeah. It's kind of an ode to this place I used to work at that really did have one. And I was like, okay, well, that would work. So, but yeah, intrepid commander stepping in there, playing the cook there, giving Erica a hard time.
Offered to add some extra seasoning.
Yeah. Yucky.
Mr. Lawrence.
So my advice to Erica during this one would be situational awareness. Know your surroundings. Especially in, California areas that are more earthquake prone. Is that huge rack that you're standing in front of, is it actually secured to the wall like it should be? Or does it have the potential to fall? So it's just maybe giving things like a double look when you're in your normal environment on what could possibly
That's a good
go
idea.
wrong.
Yeah. Right? Even like everybody study exits and stuff like that, alternate exits.
Mm-hmm. Where fire alarms are, where, fire extinguishers are, things like this. So you're not sitting there going, oh no, the emergency happened. I don't know where anything is.
Right.
I don't know the potential threats. Right.
Speed along that Ooda Loop if you know some of the your environment that you're in.
Right. You're already prepped. You're already mentally prepared for those kinds of things. All right. In Act 2 of Swenson makes a critical error here, in my opinion. He's allowing his motion to overpower his situational awareness. So he's so involved with Jillian, which of course, she's the mother of his child. Things have gone wrong.
There she is.
Yeah. So, of course that's going to happen. But one of the things he's not thinking about at all is the potential for earthquakes in St. Louis, where he is living. So that brings me into, reviewing the New Madrid quake that happened in 1811 to 1812. It was a series of 3 earthquakes over 7.0. And this area, it was a 2.5 million square kilometers affected by this earthquake. And I did a lot of research on the New Madrid quake in order to write Swenson's story and what was happening in that area of the United States. And there was absolutely things like sand blows, riverbank failures, landslides, sunken lands, areas of land going up the 2 stories, going down. The Mississippi River actually had one of those areas rise up, and it made the Mississippi River run backwards and form a new course. So this area is an area where a lot of people are not considering the potential for earthquake. They're not building prepared for it. They're not attaching things to their walls in preparation for it. Like in California, you understand it's much more of a risk kind of place. And none of that happens in this area. So just something to give a little consideration to. I've thought about earthquakes in my area, and the earth here is the sandy loam. So I mean you're looking at I can't remember what it's called, but where the houses actually go down, liquefaction, right?
You had that happen in the story, right? It was like waves.
Yes.
Then the earth was like a wave.
Yep. But this would be like things actually sinking down into it as well, and then when the earth stops moving, boom, it's just stuck there. Really, that would be scary stuff, You could be buried. On Burgess's story, now this one was the biggest conundrum for me because he is on an airplane. So what are you going to do on an airplane when the threat's on the ground, right? It'd be like being in the air and Yeah.
Yeah.
The earthquakes break out across the whole country, and where do you land then at that point?
Yeah.
We're going to do OODA Loop. If the threat's on the plane, of course, you're going to be assessing what's going on. But if the threat's on the ground, I mean, there's little that you can do, in my opinion. I had a tough
Try
time
to
with that one.
divert around it. Where are you going to land?
Right. Yeah, where? And that's what they're up against. All right, so then we come into Act 3, and we got Erica. She's pinned underneath this wine rack. She is soaked in wine, and the glass is all around her. It's just a mess. So that led me into thinking a lot about, there's a lot of landslides happening right now. There's a lot of earthquakes happening. So if you are stuck because of this activity, what should you be doing? Right? Obviously not panicking, because you might be in an area where you don't even have that much oxygen to survive off of for that long. So first thing, you're going to need to conserve energy. You're also going to need to conserve water. Like, luckily, Erica's a fictional character, and, the cupboards were stocked kind of thing. But in a typical event, it's probably not going to happen that way.
Is it? And it was like where the coat check was, too. There was a bunch of purses and stuff.
Right. Well, the employees had their purses down on the tables and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they used it as like their break room.
Yeah.
So if you can use a triangular structure to hide under, because there's going to be aftershocks coming. But you should only move if your movement is not going to cause like the debris to shift, right?
Mm-hmm.
Try to keep dust out of your lungs. That can be really, really bad. And yell as loud as possible, but you have to still conserve energy. So a noisemaker is a good idea. I have a paracord bracelet that has a whistle on it.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a great item. Or a keychain that's a whistle, right? Because then you would have that. And then how long you can survive underneath the debris is really going to depend on your circumstances. Like, how much water do you have? How crushed were you? How injured were you? How much oxygen is available in the area?
How many bottles of wine didn't break?
Yeah. And you can get the corks off of them.
Oh, we can make that happen.
So Swenson is now dealing with the chaos of the actual quake.
Mm-hmm.
So this was an interesting one, and it brings me back to an acronym that I love that I found, and it's the MOST. And I got it from this author named Zachary Carver, and he is the author of the Survivalist Victory Garden, and I have it in my survival guide as under the survival acronyms. So MOST, right? MOSTTT. M is mission, why you must survive. So that's obvious. O is operation, where can you survive? So you have to decide what are the strengths and weaknesses of your location, what are the opportunities and threats. You're basically doing a SWOT analysis of your, we're going through the OODA loop again. But the one that I particularly key in on is strategies and tactics. So strategy is, what changes do you see taking place? What problems or threats are the changes creating? What new opportunities exist? What other gaps, conflicts, or opportunities do you see arising from these changes? What counter moves can you make to seize opportunities? What counter moves can you make to avoid problems or threats? And if the problems or threats are unavoidable, how do you handle them?
That's a great one. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I mean, that gives you a list of questions that really just can get you thinking deeply about the situation you're in, instead of just a SWOT analysis. It's pretty simple, easier to remember, but... And then the tactics I also love as well. And this is, how will you survive? Do you interact with others? Or are you going to isolate yourself from others? How are you going to shape the actions that preserve your situation? What kind of decisive actions are you going to make to accomplish your goal? Eliminate or remove a threat? Are you going to integrate with somebody else, or are you going to negate a problem? So I really like to use this as a guide when I'm writing a lot of my action sequences and just the overall drama of where the character is moving. Even in, when I'm writing my books.
Oh, you can see that in Swinson. Like, he's like, okay, well, we'll just take these people and make our workforce. It's like, I'll interact with them.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
What strategy are they deploying? What tactic are they using to get through the situation?
Oh, there's Dr. Bones. We can use him. Like, bring him along.
Come on, you could come with us if you want.
Yep.
Yeah. And this is the episode with Dr. Bones in it, right? This first one? Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. And so Dr. Bones just being in there is totally epic, by the way. Oh, he's a great guy in reality, and just was awesome that he volunteered to do the audio drama as well. Love him.
He doesn't just play a doctor in the audio drama.
He doesn't. He has a wealth of information on doomandbloom.com. You guys, if you haven't been over there, you're severely missing out. And I would grab a hard copy of his book, too. And then you have to keep upgrading it because he keeps upgrading it, but it's definitely worth having it as a ready resource. All right, so we got Swenson going on. Burgess, I think that he does exactly what he should be doing, which is helping other people stay calm in that situation. And to help other people stay calm, usually you can focus. If you can focus their energy on doing something, it gives them less time to think and worry, freak out. So just having them change seats, things like that, right? Like reorganizing where they're at, because then everybody's moving around. Excuse me, kind of thing, right? Get them thinking about something else other than the fact that stuff just went wrong. We might have some problems,
right? Yeah,
exactly. And the mob mentality. One person starts freaking out, next person starts freaking out, then you got a mess. All right, now we're going to go into where put up the link from the one police article you did. I like that one better than the nurse one. Although that one was great too.
Yep, give me a second.
Okay.
I'll get it posted.
So this one comes from, the police as far as when somebody's trying to get you to respond in an altercation. And I was getting well versed at this today on one of the social media platforms. I made the
trigger.
Yeah, I made the mistake of opening my extremely large mouth and opening myself up to all kinds of social ridicule and, kill the demon thinker. But reaction is what people who are trying to get you in an altercation, your reaction is what they are seeking. So the more that you can control yourself, the better off you're going to be. And honestly, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me kind of thing. I know it's lame and it's from back in the day. And we've decided now as a society that words do hurt. But personally, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm short and I'm little and I've always been a little bit different. So I get everybody thinks it's funny to do the short jokes all the time, and that's great, whatever. But if I took offense to that, I'd be this little bitter person or something, I don't know. I am what I am.
When you read down in that police one, they actually did a Sticks and Stones remix.
What did they remix it to?
Bullets and knives may take our lives, sticks and stones may break our bones, but remember that your job is like no other. And then words don't hurt you or your mother.
Or your mother.
Or your mother. I mean, you can see how. I mean, this is guidance for police and riot gear.
Oh yeah.
I mean, obviously, and I mean, talk about a tough job.
But it's so applicable to just like you say, the keyboard warriors and the people who are out there to just like get you in a flutter. And I don't know, engaging in that stuff is so lame, which I knew off the bat, because it's not like you're going to actually like, change opinions.
Like, control yourself first. I mean, you have control over yourself.
Right.
And, you know, if you can control yourself, then know your triggers, realize what they're trying to do to you so that you can not let them have that effect, and then you can keep control over the situation. And then they have showed multiple ways of why training, you know, like train, basically. Yeah. There's multiple steps in this.
And honestly, that's why I train martial arts.
Yep.
Because then if you're ever in that situation, at least you've already been, you know, preparing your body, your mind,
and it's trained
soul.
like, and your mind, because you could train yourself to look for exits. You could train yourself for look for hazards, right? You can train yourself for, you know, look for exits and alternate exits and look for supplies and all that kind of stuff. Just doesn't cost anything as you're walking through your daily life every day.
Yep.
Do these observations.
Yeah. And be situationally aware. Like, make your brain do that.
Yep.
It's just good for you. Anyway, to stay there, stay present, stay in the now. Alrighty. And then maintain the tactical sound position.
Yeah.
That's good advice. Not always easy to do, but I could see where it'd be vitally important to law enforcement. But man, there's been so many times where you're like, I'm thinking, this is the perfect argument here, right? And you're like, nope, somebody else, you know.
Sometimes gray is a better color.
Yep. And that's where adaptability, just stay learning, stay thinking, have your position, but that doesn't mean like you're ramming it down other people's throats, you know. Because you believe in something, you don't have to ram it down everybody else's throat, because that's just going to piss you off when they don't change their mind to be what you think they should. All right. What are some of the key elements to maintaining calm in a situation where stuff goes wrong? So you have to stay adaptable all the time. Stay adaptable. Maintain composure. It took me a long time to learn that lesson.
I know. Gotta say, I'm still probably working on that one.
Yeah, I think we all are. Especially right now. It's just so hard. Communication.
Yeah.
Communication's always key. Because if you're not, that's one of the things that gets me about type land. You know, you're not looking somebody in the eyes. You're not experiencing their life when you're behind a keyboard. And then in real life, if you're not communicating to them what's going on with you, then there's no way to really grow through that experience. And communication is a muscle that must be worked. It's easy to just be like, oh, well, they know what I was thinking, right?
Yeah, that doesn't work out too well.
Yeah. I mean, typically it doesn't work out too well. You have to actually like communicate through what's going on. And especially if you expect to maintain a relationship through this time of crisis or disaster, that kind of thing. If you don't communicate with your loved one about what's going on with you and how you're feeling, forget it. Game over.
Yeah, and everybody's under stress, and stress doesn't help tranquility, so...
Yeah, exactly. But communication does. Communication really can. Critical thinking. So yeah, you know, there's always new information coming at us that has to be analyzed. Sometimes you have to take yourself out of the emotion of it so that you can like get a bigger picture of what's going on. Even like, for example, when we moved out to Texas, the house that we moved to was horrible, right? And just to stay wrapped up in that emotion of, oh my gosh, this is so horrible, what are we going to do, would have crushed us. So it was time to pull out and start thinking critically about what steps can we take, how can we circumvent this like as soon as possible. And you know, I know that's not like a huge disaster scenario, but the same applies. You're going to get wrapped up in the emotions of the event. When we had to evacuate for wildfires, you know, we could sit there going, oh my gosh, you know, our stuff's going to burn. This is crazy. We're freaking out. Or we can just get down to business, start taking the steps we had practiced for, and get out of the house. And it is what it is, you know? I'm sure hurricanes are the same way, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And tornadoes, you don't have time to think about it, but.
I mean, it's even like, you ever watched like a couple try to back up a camper trailer or launch a boat, like back a boat
yeah.
at a dock, at a landing? I mean, if they can't communicate, stuff goes wrong really fast.
Right.
And frustrations flare. I mean, it's frustrating. It's like most of the time you're probably not mad at your spouse, but you're just frustrated, right?
Yeah.
Whether you're frustrated with yourself or they're not telling you what the information you need to hear. But so, you know, working together as a team is all part of that communication.
It is. And, you know, don't get emotionally bound. Critically think. You know, keep your brain
That's
going.
the easy thing. The easy out is to throw the emotion in the mix.
You got it. Yeah. To like,
It's
oh,
just
I'm
such
so
the
mad.
easy-
Now
yeah.
somebody else has to handle this. You know.
Yeah.
It's not going to solve the problem. It's not going to get the
No,
problem.
it makes it
over.
worse usually.
Yeah. Oh, it does.
Absolutely makes it worse.
Yes. Because now you just have everybody fired up, too, on top of it.
Yeah.
All right. And then decisiveness. So, yes, you're adaptable. But like you say, you can't get stuck in that analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
You have to like, boom, we're making the
Take
move.
action.
We're going this direction. You know, that's it. That's it. That's why, you know, having a survival group is great. Having a survival council is great. But when it comes down to it, you need somebody who is that decision caller that everybody can be like, yep, we're going with that. Facilitation. I didn't read a whole lot about that one because the other ones I was like, yeah, got it.
Enabler. So like a good leader, you know, a good leader just doesn't do everything themselves. They actually they facilitate, enable people to.
That's when your leader hands it down to the people who can actually make the job happen.
Yeah.
You know,
The
like
team.
this is what we need to happen. I don't have
Yep.
all the expertise on this, so I'm giving it to you because you got the expertise. So let's make this happen so we can go this direction.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Build the team and steer the team. Don't do every job of the team.
Yeah. The micromanager who, you know, jumps into every single, and you don't know anything about it. Love them peeps.
I can see that.
I work with some. I didn't say that a lot. Goal orientated. So have a destination where you're going, right? Or like
And organizational skills, goals, and organization, big
right.
time.
Like Cole gave those people a goal, something to think about, something else to do other than worry about the disaster.
Chaos will rule the day if you don't step in, right?
Right. And what is it? The Chinese translation for disaster is chaos and opportunity linked together.
Yeah.
So, you know, inside
we were
of
talking about that before. Yeah.
I love
TJ
that. TJ
was all about the opportunity in the chaos, and he made better for himself, right?
Yeah. But we're not there yet. Don't be spoiling it ahead of time.
I know, but
some people haven't got there.
He's like the perfect example of this.
He is.
But he's a bad example.
Of the opportunity. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why his character needs to be there and needs to make you uncomfortable because that exists. So we have to think about that as well. You know, you're going to come up against these bad dudes that don't care about what's fair or what's this or that. They have their own value system that's probably not in line with yours. Okay, prioritization. So know what needs to be taken care of first, you know? As far as like survival goes, we all understand you're going to survive longer without food than you are without water.
It's like triage.
Exactly. Yes.
Knowing, quickly glancing over the whole event and knowing what has to happen first, what can wait.
Right. And that's why Butch that we had on from Hope for Survival.
Yep.
You know, his main message is that, look, FEMA, they're not coming to help you.
Yeah.
You have to do that
goals
yourself.
And
Exactly. They have
different goals than what your household's goals are.
Exactly. Their prioritization is going to be much different than what you believe it should be. In your world, it's I should be top priority, you know, but in their world, they're thinking, well, we got to get power on for this many people. Or we've got to get, you know, dam shored up or whatever's going on. Their priorities are going to be much different than ours. And then responsibility. Love this one because we all have a responsibility to take care of ourselves. You know, don't expect FEMA to come do it. Don't expect other people to come and solve your life. You have to do it for yourself. Nobody's going to control your disaster but you. Maybe you're going to get a...
And if people are held responsible for their actions, they might think different about what actions they're going to take too.
Right? Exactly.
You would hope. I know, got my rose-colored glasses on with that statement.
It should be. It should be, you know, people owning it, right? You decided to do that. You made the decision, so now own it. Don't be like, well, so-and-so made me. That's my best. Best one. Unless you were like at gunpoint. I don't think
or
so.
whip point.
Or whip point. Yeah, if we're talking Swetson, then, you know, no, I don't think so. Even your emotions. You have to own your emotions.
Yeah.
Just as much as anything else. Nobody makes you feel a certain way. You make
like that
yourself.
police site was saying, I mean, control yourself and control your part of the equation. Yeah, that's the first thing that you have total control over is yourself for the most part.
It's really the only thing you have total control over. That's like really it. It's like 10% circumstance, 90% how you respond to it. So you could literally choose your emotions if you're going to be pissed off or if you're going to be, you know, calm and cool. You know, you choose
that website. I don't think we've talked about it, but like the nurses, how nurses deal with, you know, like emergencies and stuff, and they have to stay calm and level-headed. You know, like if they start yelling and go, you know, well then the whole scene around them goes crazy. But if you can kind of calm and be collective, it brings the whole energy level down.
It's so true. Like my boys were with me, and we were going to go get somebody from the airport. And I'm usually really good in city traffic, right? But Dallas was a mess that night. And I was early. I came into Dallas a half hour early, okay? Ahead of like my early time to pick my friend up. An hour later, we're totally lost because of construction. The GPS isn't telling us the right direction to go. Like, dude, and I'm usually so like calm. I've been working on my emotional control for so long, and I lost it, right? And I could just watch like my boys begin to lose it because I did, right? So that was note to self of like, okay, you're affecting the team now, you know? You have to calm it down and keep yourself together. It doesn't do any good to kick and scream over what's going wrong. It's still going to be that way. Bottom line, it's all about you, man. You got to keep it is. It's all about how you handle it. Oh, no. Well, no, it's about you, Chin.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
You're right, it is.
However Chin handles it, that's how we're all going to take it.
That's what we're blaming.
Yeah,
I know. I'll take it on the chin. I know.
Nah, on the chin. Love it. No pun intended. I don't know. I think that's where the responsibility aspect comes in.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to get pissed off about it, own that too. I'll tell you, I got PO'd that night. It was a messed up situation. And I was late. I was like an hour and a half late when I came in early. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Toll roads. Then I had to pay money to get pissed off. I was like, come on. Alrighty, let's go ahead and jump into the Changing Earth news now that we're all aware how
Fired
to be
up.
calm. And
Yeah.
no, that was supposed to help everybody be calm.
Yeah.
I have the opposite effect on people normally.
A little pack of dynamite.
Alrighty. I like poking the bear too much. Here we go. Changing Earth news. All right. Changing Earth news. So the sun has quieted down, finally. We're watching like some new sunspots come into view, but overall, it's quieted, which was nice after we had the X-class solar flare, and then we had an M-class solar flare come out of the same area. And the M-class had like a long duration, like a longer burn on it. So they were actually more concerned about that one than the X-class, which I found kind of interesting. So it's the aspects to this that we're not aware of. It's, I thought it was like a hurricane rating kind of thing where you have like, 5 is bad, right?
Doesn't step in order.
Yeah. There's other aspects to it than just like the X classification or the M classification that make it a bad or scary thing. So, been learning more and more about that. And luckily it's gone quiet. However, Michael Poland, he's a former guest of our show. He's the scientist at Yellowstone. He announced that Yellowstone has been showing some significant uplift since July of this year. So, whatever that means, there's been lots of uplift before in certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
There was like that little bubble part that came out and things like that. But with the amount of earthquake activity uptick that we've seen, we'd just rather Yellowstone just stayed quiet over there and was good and didn't get all riled up, right? It's just not a fun thing. No.
But you keep filling our heads with this stuff, this information.
Well, that you have to keep your eye on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But Ben that I watch over at Suspicious Observers, he thinks that the magma chamber for Yellowstone has been cut off. I don't know either way because I'm just not scientifically educated enough to give the call on that. Although you can see when big earthquakes happen, the magma also moves in Yellowstone. So I'm not educated enough to argue those scientists one way or another. I can just tell you what I've seen through observation.
So here's the Volcano Observer shows movement at Yellowstone, and it says over the past few months, 1.5 centimeters lift.
Yep. Yeah. So it just and Steamboat Geyser has been acting abnormal for the past couple years. So, it's just something to keep our eye on. However, the Long Valley Caldera below Mammoth is the one that I tend to watch for activity a little bit more over there because that one is more of a raw, like, surprise attack type thing. Everybody's kind of got their eye on Yellowstone. It's being super monitored, that kind of thing. But Long Valley Caldera is much different. And with the amount of fires that have broken out around it and earthquakes, they also actually, like, pump raw sewage at it. And then they make they use the steam to create power there. So there's been earthquakes over there and things like that as well from it. Yeah. Because,
Oh, who came up with that brilliant idea?
Well, it gets rid of the poop and it creates power. So, I mean, you'd think it was a win-win if you weren't, like, potentially messing with the sleeping giant. It's kind of like
Tesla's powered by poop.
Yeah. It's just like tickling his feet, Alrighty, let's talk world storms. So Australia's been seeing hailstorms again. They're just getting really their butt kicked. They had one come in on the 30th in southwest Queensland, and then they were back on the list on the 6th for Melbourne. So they really got nailed. Argentina saw hail, really strong winds. Tobacco crops were really affected by that storm. Bolivia got hit both on the 1st and the 2nd. It caused a lot of structural damage, the storm that came through there, hail and whatnot. On the 2nd, a violent storm also hit Shanghai, China, Disneyland. So that was some interesting footage to watch. On the 3rd, 500,000 people were left without power in Massachusetts as that storm rolled on through, and that was the one we were talking about last week that had the really cool jet stream on it that was doing some crazy stuff. So hopefully I think everybody's back online over there. Ecuador also got hit, so a lot of South American flooding, things like that going on in that area. But we are doing the change of seasons, right? So you figure they're going into their spring in the southern hemisphere. Spain got hit. Spain has just been, they have La Palma going on. And then the coasts have just been getting creamed with these storms, hail and flooding and whatnot. Peru, Barcelona is back on the list. And then on the 5th, Miami saw significant flooding as well in Florida. All right. And that was, we got hit with this cold snap that came down from the Arctic. We got really cold down here really fast. Yeah.
It's just been nasty here.
Yeah. It's supposed to warm up this week. But, that Arctic was, but, then it's supposed to come back the 3rd week in November. So it's going to do a little dance, in between warm and cold. And then they're really predicting a much colder December. So we'll just have to see what that brings. Significant flooding to report. We had significant flooding in Iraq, Venezuela, Peru. In Peru, 1,500 homes were affected. One person died in that flooding. India, same thing with India. They've just been on my list every single week, along with Italy, getting tons of rain. Colombia, Venezuela got really significant amounts of rain, flooding. Iran and Saudi Arabia. So, that's like the Middle East just getting slammed with storms over there. And then Venezuela. So, like I say, lots of South America. And then Sarajevo in Bolivia got hit with a severe storm. And that was massive amounts of flooding. That was crazy. That was like watching what happened to Germany. Water spouts. There was 2 water spouts spotted off the coast of Croatia on the 3rd. And then Spain saw water spouts in both Malcora and Melilla on the 5th. So those are always pretty neat to watch as they go across the ocean like that. Luckily, the water spouts don't do as much damage, so it's not like huge to report on, but they're really neat to watch if you want to go see some pictures of them. The Argentina also got hit with the tornado on the 31st, did some significant damage. And there was one in Russia as well on the 3rd. Then this thick fog came in on Moscow on the 1st. It's still hanging out there. It caused like 100 flights to be detained and canceled. The 2nd, it was still going on. It was just really creepy, super heavy fog. I don't know how often that happens there. I didn't check it out, but it was really creepy. I'll tell you that. That'd be just weird. Volcanoes. So we know La Palma is still going strong. The earthquake activity is still happening. One cool statistic that I picked up from La Palma this week was that approximately 17,000 gallons of lava are coming out of that volcano a second. Well, that's pretty cool. 17,000 gallons a second.
It's crazy.
Right? Nevado del Ruiz volcano started erupting gases and ash. And on the 7th, Mount Etna in Italy went crazy. It threw ash and rocks over Sicilian settlements. There was only a small flow of lava. It was really just a lot of ash and rock that came out of it. It's been really active since October 24th. But the scientists are also worried that like a major slough of Mount Etna could cause the tsunamis in the Mediterranean. So that's definitely a concern. And Mount Etna is a really active volcano. So we just keep our eye on that one. Severe landslides on the 6th in the Philippines. We had locusts. That's right. Locusts, the bugs. They invaded Trinidad and Tobago, a couple of islands above South America. And they were hit. They just started destroying crops and everything like crazy there. So hopefully they don't start descending into South America. That would be really bad. We talked about the CMEs already. Blizzard. So we got snow coming in. On the 3rd, Italy and France were both hit with the blizzard. You know, nice beginning snowfall. On the 4th, Austria was hit with heavy snowfall. Also on the 4th, Switzerland got their first snow, like 10 to 25 centimeters, so that's not really bad. And on the 5th, there was snow in India. And Russia. I mean, Russia, you figure they're northern hemisphere, right? But India I found a little interesting. But I'm in northern India is the mountain regions, so I didn't map check it to see like what region was getting the snow, but I would assume it's up there in the Himalayas. As far as earthquakes go, some that were, interesting to note. We had a 5.8 earthquake on the 30th on the Indian Ocean. A lot of 5.0 activity. There was a 5.7 in the North Pacific and a 5.6 in the Gulf of Alaska. So Alaska is still really active. I'm going to start consolidating some of the earthquake stuff for you guys because it's a little redundant to go over every day. But in the last 24 hours, we had 97 earthquakes that were a magnitude 1.5 or higher. In the past 7 days, there was 956 earthquakes, 1.5 or higher. And then in the past 30 days, there was 4,390 earthquakes that were 1.5 or higher. So I'm going to keep track of those numbers like I do the volcanoes so we can just see trends up or down in the overall activity. And I wish I was doing that before because it would have been interesting to see how much the solar cycles are affecting the earthquake activity. That's what I'm really after as far as numbers go.
Yeah, get your graph paper out.
Right, I know. I've been making spreadsheets in Excel. So the biggest earthquake today was a 5.4 in Tonga. Biggest earthquake this week was a 6.0 in Indonesia. Biggest earthquake this month was a 6.9 in Sandpoint, Alaska. And then the biggest one this year was the 8.2 in Sandpoint, Alaska. So go USA. We're still the biggest earthquake. All right, coming up to volcanoes. So today, as of today, there are 29 volcanoes active on our planet right now. That's the most that I've ever seen since I started recording. So that's rather interesting. 15 are showing minor activity. That's a kind of like average range, middle of the road. And then only 27 are showing unrest, and that's at the low end of the scale. So, we are seeing a lot more active, so we're not seeing as many showing unrest. Hopefully that pattern remains, But we are getting some crazy amounts of snowfall up north, and they're blaming it on the amount of, we're going into basically a volcanic winter because we've had so many erupting volcanoes putting the CO2 or the SO2 into the air, which causes more rainfall, snowfall in certain areas. So we got to keep an eye on this stuff and see, the patterns. It's just fun to watch it unfold, see what comes of it. Well, that's all my Changing Earth news.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, you guys get to catch up on like a week of my research every day. Just one, boom, 15 minutes. There you go. But the pictures are incredible.
I was looking at the earthquake maps of America. Pennsylvania
where they
had
hit?
one. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're talking like a lot of West Coast activity, and then there's the craton of the United States where like the plate sits on top of the other plate, and it goes through like Colorado and down into the panhandle of Texas, and then shoots back up through like that St. Louis area, and then up into like Maine and that. And so you see a lot of the activity on that U shape in the United States.
The town in Pennsylvania that got hit, it was a 1.7.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Sinking Springs, Pennsylvania.
Oh boy. Oh yeah.
Maybe you better pick a better name for your.
I thought South Carolina had another one too.
Yeah, they said that.
Like a little one.
We had a bunch of little ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So I tried to try and stay like on the bigger numbers because I want to talk about what's happening on the world, not just the U.S. But yeah, I thought they said South Carolina.
They had a 2 in Jenkinsville, South Carolina.
Oh, that's janky.
On the 1st. Yeah.
I laugh at myself.
Yeah. Oh, we laugh at you too.
Thanks. Oh, Sparta, North Carolina. So North Carolina is getting hit too.
Well, you told me I picked up on South Carolina because you said South Carolina.
Yep. Yeah, I know. Whatever.
Here, people can. I'll pop this over there. People can click on whatever state they want.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It is cool to follow the activity because we just never know. Like I say, just never know. There's been all kinds of activity all around, and you just never know what our planet's up to. We got to keep an eye on it. As much as we do
you're
else.
telling us all over the globe. I mean, for the most part, what we watch the evening news or something.
Yeah, you hear about like your town a little bit wider.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So you get to hear all this other how stuff kind of intertwines.
And how the storms move, too. You can see, like, the activity, if Spain's getting hit, then Italy gets hit. Because if you look at it on the grand scale, that's where their jet stream's moving through, So you can watch a lot of the patterns of what happens there as far as... Because even when I'm watching the news or, watching USA weather channels that just show USA, you can see the jet streams. Well, they exist around the globe. So... Right. What's happening in one area is going to affect the next and the next. And so we can kind of get ready for that. What I've been curious about is the amount of toxicity that's coming down in the rain. There's been so much rain in Spain and then Italy and all of that. And with La Palma erupting and the wind blowing the smoke and stuff that way, it would get evaporated into the clouds. Then it would come down in the precipitation as like acid rain and stuff like that. And I haven't heard a lot of information regarding anything negative happening that way. So that's a good thing. But, it has to be happening. There's just no way that much ash can go into the air without it happening. So where is it going? Are the people going to be okay?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the old thing, the rain in Spain is mainly on the plains. So
is there like I don't get that one. You're gonna have to hit it across my head.
That's lyrics from a musical.
Oh, okay, because I'm like, what? I have. Thanks, Chid. You left me completely
Bring a little
speechless.
culture. Hey, that's what I'm here for, throwing those softballs up there.
Yeah. Yep. Nothing but love there. Love it. All right, guys. Well, you can check out the audio dramas are coming out weekly on PBN. I think we are on episode 4 this week. You can also find the shows over at my website, changingearthseries.com. And if you become a paid member for just $3 a month, you can get access to the commercial-free versions of the shows. And then we'll be doing like binge episodes and things like that also once we get a ways in. So that'll be fun. Try to get together, get the actors together, some of the performers, so that you guys can talk to them live. Most everybody who's involved in this project is a podcaster in the survivalist community. So very interesting people, and just a blast to hang out with, and a wealth of information once you start talking to them. And if you want to find out more information about the performers and that, go on over to my website, changingearthseries.com. And then there's a link, or you can do, it's the long version, author Sarah F. as in Foxtrot Hathaway.com/Changing Earth. That's the page right where it's at. So, all that information is on my website, all the performers, everybody. I can't thank people enough. Everybody just stepped to the plate, and, the survivalist community is, you guys are just awesome. So that's enough said. Like, you're just awesome. Great people. That's why we have to remember that the a-holes like Swenson are out there, right? Surround yourself with good people, and you forget that there's people that are not so great. So, yep. But you can be reminded if you just go on to social media. No, I'm kidding.
Sarah had an incident today.
Yeah, I was doing a little battle. I knew better. But sometimes the Sarah filter doesn't exist. So we just have to roll with those punches. Alrighty, guys. That's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed the show. Check out the at least season or episode 2 of the audio drama before next week. We'll be going over that one. And
here's your homework.
Yeah, you got some homework to do. It's fun homework, though. I mean, totally fun. So until next time, remember, dream,
survive,
thrive.
Thank you for joining Sarah and Chen for this episode of the Changing Earth podcast. Don't forget to pick up your copy of Day After Disaster at www.authorSarahFHathaway.com. If you